Henry M. Paulson Jr., Dealing with China, an insider unmasks the new economic superpower. Get ready to venture into the heart of China's economic transformation as we delve into the book's summary of Dealing with China, an insider unmasks the new economic superpower by Henry M. Paulson Jr. The book explores the rise of China to become one of the world's largest economies, facilitated by the introduction of Western economic ideas, opening up to global marketplace with special economic zones, and its collaborations with foreign entities. You will learn how key policies and initiatives have contributed to China's unprecedented growth, the challenges faced by the government in restructuring, and the potential risks that could arise if rising debt is not addressed. By going through the summary, you will gain keen insights into the impacts of these economic changes on everyday life and the environment, as well as the importance of a solid relationship between the US and China in navigating global challenges in the future.
China's unprecedented economic leap. In the late 1970s, China's rise as an economic powerhouse seemed unimaginable. Yet, the incorporation of Western economic ideologies and initiatives under Deng Xiaoping's leadership propelled China into the global market. The newfound authority of state-owned enterprises and the development of special economic zones sparked massive GDP growth and entrepreneurship, elevating millions from poverty and altering the landscape of Chinese business forever. Envisioning China as an economic giant in the late 1970s would have been a stretch. However, with the introduction of Western economic concepts, China experienced unprecedented growth. After Mao Zedong's passing in 1976, Deng Xiaoping took the reins, setting forth a series of economic initiatives over the subsequent 2 years that connected China to the global marketplace. These initiatives yielded extraordinary results, with millions of Chinese citizens escaping poverty in a matter of a few years. By the early 1980s, China's GDP skyrocketed, growing at an average annual rate of 10%. This rapid progression hinged on a crucial policy, granting state-owned enterprises, SOEs, more autonomy. Though required to fulfill quotas set by the central government, SOEs could now determine their prices and participate in the open market. Another central component of Xiaoping's economic strategy was the establishment of special economic zones, SEZs. These areas stimulated the dormant Chinese entrepreneurial spirit by offering foreign and Chinese businesses lower taxes, relaxed import and export constraints, and easier access to foreign investment. Renowned companies like Lenovo and Hangzhou Huaha Group found their genesis during this era. SEZs also functioned as incubators for experimenting with economic practices prevalent in the West, such as competitive construction contracts and performance-driven worker incentives. The transformative economic reforms unlocked opportunities for entrepreneurs and talented individuals, fueling the rise of new businesses. This shift propelled young entrepreneurs to establish their own companies, significantly changing the Chinese economy and cementing its status as an international powerhouse. China's telecom privatization revolution. Chinese business was profoundly influenced by economic events worldwide, such as the massive deregulation and privatization led by Margaret Thatcher in the United Kingdom. In China, privatization became a lifeline for struggling state-owned enterprises, SOEs, burdened with debt and outdated business practices. By going public, these companies attracted international investment and adopted global accounting standards, resulting in significant improvements. The first industry to privatize was telecommunications, initiated by China Telecom, which raised more than $35 billion between 1992 and 1996. This investment led to rapid growth, with fixed telephone lines increasing from 11.5 million to 55 million people. Despite infrastructure spending outstripping revenue generation, China Telecom successfully completed its IPO in October 1997, raising over $4.2 billion and paving the way for competition in the industry. By 2008, China had 3 large, competitive national carriers, completely transforming the Chinese telecommunications landscape from a single company to a thriving, competitive market. Transforming China's oil industry. The massive restructuring of China's oil industry in the late 1990s was a highly complex and challenging feat. The China National Petroleum Company, CNPC, an inefficient state-owned enterprise, had 1.5 million workers due to the traditional practice of lifelong employment and provided benefits such as housing and healthcare. CNPC's privatization and transition into PetroChina led to an enormous workforce reduction and immense public protests. These drastic changes were necessary, however, to bring the company to a competitive level amidst a difficult global macroeconomic environment. The late 1990s marked a turning point for China's oil industry, which was deeply in need of reforms. The highly inefficient China National Petroleum Company, CNPC, ranked far behind Western competitors in terms of performance, primarily due to the outdated practice of assigning workers to a lifetime job with a single company. This led to massive expenses for the company in terms of labor costs, housing, and healthcare. In 1999, CNPC employed 1.5 million individuals, a staggering figure compared to just 80,000 on the payroll of the oil giant BP. Transforming CNPC into a competitive player in the global market was a gargantuan challenge, made even more complex due to the aftermath of the Asian financial crisis, which had significantly reduced oil demand and caused plummeting prices worldwide. The decision to privatize CNPC and transform it into PetroChina necessitated drastic changes in the way the company operated. Roughly two-thirds of the employees were laid off as part of the restructuring process to make it profitable and appealing to international investors. The harsh reality of these layoffs, accompanied by meager severance packages, led to widespread protests both in China and the United States. This shocking wave of job losses throughout the Chinese oil industry was a harbinger of broader employment shifts, as the nation grappled with the ongoing consequences of economic modernization. Between 1990 and 2001, over 40 million jobs were eliminated in China's state-owned sector alone, according to the International Monetary Fund in 2004. Revamping China's education and banking. China faced a significant problem in the 1990s, becoming compatible with the global market in terms of education and banking. To tackle the education issue, Chinese Premier Zhu Rongji initiated a reform in business education at Tsinghua University. The focus shifted to case study-based learning, emulating the teaching style at Harvard Business School. Tsinghua's first executive training program, Managing in the Internet Age, launched in 2001, and since then, over 50,000 individuals have benefited from these programs. Nonetheless, the banking sector also needed reform. Initially, the Chinese government created four state-owned banks to compete against each other, aiming to enhance efficiency. However, these banks began financing state-owned enterprises, SOEs, via unsound loans, resulting in economic instability and the accumulation of bad debts. To resolve this issue, the government undertook a series of restructurings and layoffs. For instance, China's largest bank, ICBC, successfully disposed of $135 billion in bad loans within 6 years, allowing it to become more competitive in the global marketplace. China's debt dilemma and environment. China's rapid economic growth has positioned it as a global powerhouse, but with this growth come significant challenges. Among these are the nation's soaring debt levels, which have the potential to trigger a worldwide economic crisis if not adequately managed. Additionally, the environmental impact of China's industrial activities has led to severe pollution and depletion of natural resources. To mitigate these issues, it is essential for China to delegate more authority to state-owned enterprises, SOEs, invest in energy-efficient technologies, and adopt sustainable practices. Cooperation from the international community is also vital in helping China transition towards a more sustainable future. In recent years, China's footprint in the global marketplace has grown exponentially, giving it substantial influence on the world stage. However, this rapid expansion has also generated concerning levels of debt within the country. At an alarming rate, China's debt climbed from 130% of GDP in 2008 to 206% in 2014, outpacing GDP growth and creating a precarious situation. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has warned China about its swelling credit levels and advised the nation to take control of its finances. To stabilize the economy and avert disaster, China should consider empowering SOEs by enabling them to make independent decisions, such as handling human resources without intervention from the Communist Party. By granting SOEs more autonomy, they can operate in a more efficient and competitive manner, better handling their debt. Moreover, China's relentless focus on economic growth has wreaked havoc on its environment. Pollution in major cities is dangerously high, and crucial resources like groundwater reserves and clean water sources are dwindling. Taking swift action to invest in energy-efficient technology and developing sustainable cities are vital to China's long-term success. Collaboration with the international community plays a crucial role in ensuring China's successful transition towards a more sustainable economy. Initiatives like the Paulson Institute, which support China's sustainability efforts through education and innovative solutions, are essential in fostering a cleaner and more stable global future. Bridging U.S.-China communications. Open communication is crucial in maintaining productive global relationships, and it plays a significant role between superpowers like the United States and China. In the early 2000s, dialogue between these two nations was unstable, but relations improved when President George W. Bush and Chinese President Hu Jintao launched the Strategic Economic Dialogue (SED) in 2006. These meetings focused on enhancing conversations about economic issues. Before the SED, Chinese officials would receive conflicting messages from different U.S. cabinet members, making it difficult to negotiate. To streamline communication, a coordinator position was created to ensure a unified stance from the U.S. cabinet. This structured approach was well received by the Chinese, who favored strict hierarchies. The first SED meeting, held in Beijing in 2006, led to significant advancements in the U.S.-China relationship, such as opening NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange offices in China, resuming negotiations on expanding U.S. carrier flights to China, and facilitating financing to support U.S. exports to China. These positive outcomes were a testament to the importance of effective communication between national leaders. Thriving together with China. The U.S. and China's strategic relationship, dating back to the 1970s, has proven to be mutually beneficial. As China's economy has grown, many U.S. citizens question the collaboration. However, Chinese issues, such as pollution, pose global implications that can impact the U.S., so assisting China towards sustainability ultimately benefits the states. Additionally, reciprocal investments in industries including agribusiness and real estate exist between both countries, generating economic growth and job opportunities. Emphasizing a strong relationship with China ensures a cooperative future in managing global challenges. In the 1970s, the U.S. discovered the economic benefits of China's low-cost imports, while China profited from Americans' desire for inexpensive goods. This strategic alliance paved the way for future collaboration between the two nations. Presently, with China's rising economic status, some Americans feel uneasy assisting a potential competitor. However, it's essential to recognize that global challenges faced by China ultimately affect the U.S. For instance, a 2014 National Academy of Sciences study linked Chinese manufacturers to a quarter of sulfate pollution found on the U.S. West Coast, revealing the far-reaching consequences of unsustainable practices. Supporting China's mission for sustainability can directly result in a stronger, more environmentally sound future for both countries. Moreover, the increasing mutual investments between the U.S. and China generate significant economic growth and employment opportunities for both parties. From 2012 to 2013 alone, Chinese investments in the U.S. doubled to $14 billion in various sectors. Although some Americans feel uncomfortable with foreign ownership, the economic advantages cannot be overlooked. The Wanxiang Group, China's largest auto parts manufacturer, is but one example. With $23.5 billion in revenue, they employ roughly 6,000 Americans across 14 states, and even saved over 3,500 jobs during the financial crisis. Conclusively, fostering a strong alliance with China and understanding their objectives are crucial steps in navigating shared global challenges. Embracing collaboration, not resistance, yields immense benefits for both nations as they face an uncertain future together.
As we conclude the whirlwind journey through the summary of Dealing with China, it becomes evident that the country's rapid economic ascendance has far-reaching implications on people's lives and the environment. China's economic transformation has largely been driven by the adoption of Western economic models, granting SOEs more authority, creating SEZs, and ushering in privatization. However, challenges such as rising debt, environmental deterioration, and incompatibility with the global marketplace remain. The steps China takes to tackle these challenges will have significant impacts on the global economy. Furthermore, fostering a strong relationship between the US and China is of paramount importance, as the two superpowers have the responsibility and ability to navigate through the complexities and challenges faced by the world today. So, keeping an eye on China's progress and engaging ourselves in building a robust relationship with the economic powerhouse is crucial to ensure a prosperous and sustainable future for all.